So I just finished watching Death Note on Netflix, and I think I'd like it more if I didn't watch the anime first. It is very it's not very, there is no suspense in this whatsoever. It is very straightforward and to the point, pretty much taking the series, the anime series, and putting it into a movie. That was it. You straight to the point, find the book, you write in the book, and then you ultimately probably die. The fact that I do have one small thing, and I think the whole internet probably agreed with this. So, the Shinigami named Ryuk was voiced by William Dafoe. I don't know how I feel about that. He's got a pretty creepy voice. However, the fact that you do not see Ryuk at all throughout this entire series, except for this entire movie, except near the end where you kind of see his face, I don't know how I feel about that. I had to actually, so the very, very beginning of the Death Note Netflix movie, I caught, I don't know what it was, like maybe 20 minutes in or something like that. So I ended up, okay, so you watch it, he gets the book, a storm comes and it's crazy because, supernatural things don't happen on their own, obviously. So this book, the book falls and he ends up picking it up. And of course, it lands right next to him, and he picks it up, and then Ryuk makes an appearance, and he's screaming because he can't believe this is what's happening. And Ryuk essentially makes him write in the book to pretty much prove a point. Well, I had to go back and watch the anime, the very first episode of the anime, because I was completely positive that Ryuk makes an appearance and it's not just kind of backstory. Well, I was accurate in that very first episode, essentially Ryuk appears. And Ryuk's pretty creepy. I kind of love him because he can walk around like this, like with nothing, and that was the only reason why I never cosplay him, but that's besides the point. In the animated series, Ryuk doesn't tell Light what to do. Light just does it on his own, and he's like, I'm gonna be a god. Well, in the live action, like, Light, they have to get a little more creative with these names here, if you're gonna Americanize something, I suppose. Ryuk makes him do it, but there's no real rhyme or reason to the fact that he's bored. Like, it's not obvious that he's bored, whereas in the animated series, I agree, in the anime you have a lot more time to expand on these stories. However, the very first time you see Ryuk in the anime, he says he's bored, and he wants to throw the book down in the human world, and that's how this all started. And, Light is essentially bored, but he doesn't really say that. He just doesn't like people in general. He thinks they're rotten. Well, the Netflix series doesn't really get into that. They don't really. To be completely honest, I love the subbed. I love the subbed versions of the animes because as much as I hate reading subtitles, it makes me pay attention more. So perhaps it's why I like them a lot more than hearing something that is dubbed. Also, the fact that, okay, I understand, Death Note's not happy at all. The series, the fandom, whatever, it's not happy. But this Netflix movie kind of made it like a thriller almost. And I think if I didn't watch the anime first, I probably would have liked this a lot more. I don't like it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I don't know. I can't really say my 100% thoughts on it. If you want to waste 2 hours of your life to watch it, feel free. If you haven't watched the anime, you might like this. All of us who've watched the anime have pretty much, in my opinion, have been, there's a standard for Death Note. So, I really wanted to like this. I really did. Actually, I really didn't. I really just was bored. Go figure. So that's why I watched this, and I don't know, like I said, 2 hours of your life you're never going to get back, but I've seen worse things in my time, so to be honest, it wasn't that bad. It was just, it kind of made me laugh. It really did. Like I said, I have the standard of the anime to back me up, and I was trying to remember without rewatching the anime. It's been a really long time since I watched the anime. If what's her name? I want to say it's Mia. It's not Mia. I don't know. The chick. You think I remember how she came about with the Death Note and how that gets played out. And then, of course, the very end of how Light's story essentially plays out. I do have to say, kind of a little itty bitty thing on top of all of the other things, L. So, if you've watched the anime, L is a favorite among a lot of people, and he's very particular. Obviously, he's lanky, he's got crazy hair, he doesn't sleep, he eats candy, and he sits on his toes, and he's always barefoot. Well, in this series, in this Netflix series, they've got some of those points right. You know, he picks things up with his fingers because he doesn't like touching stuff, or whatever, like, you know, particularly looking at things. So every once in a while, that would happen. He'd pick up, you know, stuff with his two fingers and, you know, look at it, listen to the phone or whatever. But then other times, he kind of doesn't. Again, I know it's hard to imitate anime, whether it be, you know, costuming or whatever. However, if you're going to impersonate a character, you should do it right. Again, standards. But the fact that they got the linkiness down was kind of cool. I did kind of like that he wasn't a white dude. Let's be completely honest. Yay, minorities. Gotta have these people in the shows for whatever reason. So that was kind of neat that they didn't just do like a white cast. So props to Netflix, I suppose, for that. But other than that, that's all I got. Don't watch the anime and then watch this. That's all I have to say, because you're going to be very disappointed. Like I said, it's been a really long time since I watched the anime. I ended up just watching the very first episode to get a basis of when Light meets Ryuk. And aside from that, I just sat through it and I kind of laughed, because it's very much a quickened version of the entire anime series, but Americanized and silly. So, there it is. I guess you can jump on the bandwagon of whether or not you liked it, because I'm in the boat that's going over there that didn't like it. Maybe sitting in the middle between the two, because it did have a small entertainment factor. But aside from that, don't base it off the anime. Never base it off the anime.